In the previous video, I created a simple today's date shortcode that displays today's date. Now we will be looking at other shortcodes that are more useful, but before that, let me just tell you what are the other mechanisms that JavaScript editor uses to support your coding and make it a breeze. To do that, I'll just open a completely blank document and show you what I mean. You have already seen some of the templates and how they work, but JavaScript editor also has IntelliSense that is built in. If I just start typing the name of a function, for example, add action, IntelliSense will pop up and allow you to do the autocomplete to speed up your coding. Then when you open the bracket, it is going to pop the WordPress function parameter list that tells you what is that you are supposed to put in there. In this case, there are 4 parameters that can be applied: tag, function to add, priority, and the accepted arguments. You should keep in mind that WordPress has more than 2,500 functions that you can use, and remembering them or what a function can do or what a parameter list is would be a daunting task. Luckily, you don't have to remember any of this. If you see a function but you're not sure what it does, all you have to do is to put your pointer over it and to hit Shift F1. F1 is normally reserved for help, but if you just hit F1, you're going to get help on JavaScript and JavaScript functions. Shift F1 gives you the help on all the WordPress functions. So in this case, what I did was just to put my pointer over here and to hit Shift F1, and that immediately opened up the browser window for me and opened the code reference that describes what add action is. It gives you the additional information about it, how to use it, and so on and so forth. And that is all part of WordPress.org and a team of developers of WordPress. Let's go back. And remember, all you need to do is to put your mouse pointer over a function, hit Shift F1, and you're going to get help on over 2,500 functions that belong to WordPress. Let me close this. And before I create another shortcode, let me just tell you that by going to Insert, Solution, you can put the entire solutions into your web projects and augment your WordPress development by putting date pickers, buttons, using the accordion object, cookies, making something draggable, making something droppable, adding special effects, and so on and so forth. I'm not going to show any details because there is a separate training video that talks about the interface elements and how to use them and how to add them to your projects. So for now, let's just put in another shortcode. Because I'm going to have more than one shortcode, I'll apply another template over here, which is called shortcodes register. And all I need to do is to put a prefix there. It's a good idea to use a unique prefix because that way you are going to avoid the conflict with other plugins that you might have in your system. I'm going to use the name of my company, which is cPoint, and hit OK. And we now have a function called cPoint register shortcodes, which is going to be invoked when the plugin is being initialized. So instead of listing add shortcodes separately, I'm just going to put all of them in here. I'll delete it from there and just put it into register shortcodes. Okay, and now we are ready to add more shortcodes. All this shortcode is doing is displaying today's date. But there will be many instances when you want to enclose the content and modify the content so that it does what you want it to do. Let's create another shortcode that is going to do exactly that. Once again, I'm going to use a template for that, and this time I will go for the enclosing shortcode. Let's call that shortcode box, and its purpose will be to draw a box around the selected content. Okay, we hit OK, and we are ready to implement the box shortcode. This add shortcode, I'm just going to move it over here so that all of those shortcodes get added and registered at the same time. I'm going to save what I have done up until now. As you can see, there are two more parameters that appear. One of them is the list of attributes, and the second one is the content. That's the selected content. If you just want to do something before and after the content, for example, to make the content bold, all I would need to do would be to put the text before and after and hit save. And this particular shortcode, the box shortcode, would be making the existing content bold. Let's just check that all of that is working correctly. So we go back here and let's put box and slash box. This content is bold. This content is not bold. Update and reload. The shortcode is working, but it is not drawing the box around the content, it's turning the content into bold. So we need to modify it so that it does what we want it to do. If I go back and if I get rid of the existing box shortcode and create a new one, well, this time I will choose the one with attributes. Again, I'll call it box. We are already adding the shortcode, so we don't need this. Okay. Well, here you can see that by default there are a couple of attributes that we are extracting. And the attributes that we might want to use for our box would be, for example, width. And the second one could be height. And how about having one more attribute, which is going to be color? So as the third one, I'm going to put the color, and I'm going to give them some default values. So by default, the width is going to be 200 pixels. The height is going to be 100. And let's make it red. Next, we need to construct the HTML that is going to display the box. And that would be something similar to this piece of code. So it would be a div that is of the certain width, certain height, and with a given background color. If I just divide this into two parts, that is going to appear before and after the content, we are going to get our box drawn. However, it will be rather inflexible because it has hard-coded values such as 100 pixels, and the background color. Nevertheless, let's save the new version of the plugin and let's go back so that we can change this. This content is in a box. And if I update and reload my page, so what happened here? The box has been constructed, but as I said, it's rather inflexible because it has those hard-coded values. If we use whatever comes in the list of attributes, then we are going to make this particular shortcode a lot more flexible. Well, let's do that. So instead of 100 pixels, I'm going to delete 100 pixels, and instead I'm going to use the variable that we are passing on. And instead of using the height, I'm going to do exactly the same, which means I'm going to pass the height variable. And finally, when it comes to the background, the same thing. We are going to pass the color variable. Much better. Quick check. Let's see that our box is still working. Okay, well, this time it's a little bit bigger. Why is it bigger? Because the default width is 200 pixels. Height is still 100 pixels. Let's try passing the parameters, passing the attributes as part of the shortcode. We go back to our page, and this time we are going to say this box is going to be with the following attributes. Width is going to be 500 pixels, and height is going to be 300, and color is going to be, for example, green. We update the page and we refresh. This is looking good, but the height is not exactly 300 pixels. I forgot to put px there. So let's update again and let's reload. Well, now we are in business. You have already learned quite a lot. You know how to enclose the content, and you know how to pass the shortcode attributes and then manipulate them. In the next video, I will give you the pointers on how to create best-selling plugins that people are looking for and are willing to buy.